Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Today's episode of The Topping Show is proudly sponsored by Topping Technologies. Topping Technologies is an IT value-added reseller and services company with a special proficiency IT security. Heck, I see their founder at least twice a day. I see he's quite handsome and brilliant. He's me, you see, that's the joke. If you're an IT leader or a business owner, you reach out to the team at sales@toppingtechnologies.com. Also, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you can click that button and tell your friends, I would greatly appreciate it. Now, going over to the business part of the podcast, you have Trump saying he won't sell the DJT stock, which helps it increase by 25%, though overall still struggling quite a bit. Now, DJT is the little stock that is behind the Trump Media Corporation, also known as Truth Social, which is one of the most popular social media apps, though, again, it's still not doing great because they still have yet to make a profit. And many argue the core value behind it is decreasing because, again, Trump is no longer exclusively posting on there. He is famously now back on the Twitter, or X. Now, usually he posts much more frequently on Truth Social, but again, the big compelling reason that a lot of people thought it'd be good for is free speech. Elon has since bought X Twitter, which again used to be mostly censorship and mostly a hellhole, but now it's much more for free speech and has much more diversity of opinion. Those two big things, to me, are the two reasons why that company's in trouble, though again, none of this is financial advice. Now, looking at their long-term trend in terms of the stock, still down about 7.88% in the past year to date. So, granted, by the time this video is rendered and uploaded, it'll change because that's what the stock market does. Stock market does. And, $17.97 per share. And past month, it still crashed 32.96%. Again, or $7.91. But again, did still had that nice little increase at the end of last week. And bam, went up by 25%. But still not doing great. Now, this article is brought to you by CNBC, specifically Kevin Bruninger and Dan Mangin, who are writers over there. They say, quote, DJT shares soar as Trump says, I'm not selling, unquote. Which, yeah, if you're one of the largest owners of the company and you sell your stock, that causes the price to drop precipitously and in some cases crashes, which, again, is the reason why a lot of these net worth individuals like Elon, they couldn't realistically sell all their stock because, again, the company would just crash in terms of valuation, each cell will be worth less and less, and people wouldn't be too happy. You also lose control of the company. Now, going to the actual substance of the article, they say the quote, the Republican presidential nominee will soon be free and ability to start selling stock, in which he has nearly 57% stake in the company as it trades at DJT on the NASDAQ. Though, interestingly enough, for a while, if you're on the Google search, you just search Trump stock, nothing would show up. However, if you search on Brave, just search Trump stock, DJT does show up as a result. Interesting, the juxtaposition of the two search engines. And they say, quote, trading the stock has halted briefly after Trump comments to the press at a golf event in California, which he said, oh yeah, it's not going to sell any, which, again, a lot of people are speculating, is he going to cash out in his billions, reduce the company to nothing, as, again, he's been using X Trader more and more, and it appears this has bolstered a lot of confidence in terms of a lot of people who are supporting the company, a lot of people who are buying the stock. They think he's going to be actively involved in it long term. He's still going to have some exclusive content that's going on there. Again, he is still posting on X Twitter. Now, if you go to the actual DJT stock, look at their actual financials. Again, they had the astronomical increase, but I'm actually want to bring up the finances really quick because that's where, that's when you get in a lot of trouble because, again, that's why and again, no, this is financial advice, but one of the reasons I never invested in it was just the numbers simply don't add up, and I don't see it doing good. So past 5 fiscal quarters, the revenue is basically nothing. Now, granted, for an individual, the revenue for the last quarterly result, which ended June 2024, that came in at $836.9 thousand, which is a lot of money for an individual, but as a business, that's terrible. Especially when you look at how negative everything is. Their net income last June was negative 16.97 million. Last fiscal quarter, so Q1, the income was negative $327 million. December 2023 is down 9 million. September 2023 is 26 million. So the revenue is, again, just minuscule, barely anything. And the net profit margin is terrible. EBITDA is literally negative 390. Yeah, I've never heard this before. The EBITDA was negative $18.65 million. As percentage is down 396.65%, which is huge. Yet the year change revenue is also down by 29%. Operating expenses are increased by 295%. And again, the big compelling reason for people to actually go there and sign up for it is nearly all but evaporated, which again is, to me, I just speculate. I don't see the business viability of the platform unless X Twitter is somehow nuked off the face of the planet, or let me know in the comments. I just don't see a long-term viable way for the business to actually make a profit and grow. Now, after comment, Trump said, quote, specifically, I'm not selling. Again, he has 57% of the company. He says, absolutely no intention of selling, which again, that helped it jump up 25%. And he says, quote, why is NASDAQ halting the sale of DJT? What right do they have to do this, unquote? Which he also says, quote, if we do it again, we will move the stock off the New York Stock Exchange, adding, quote, is my intention to own the stock for a long period of time, which at Texas, or some might properly pronounce it, TXS, has lost their own stock exchange. It'll be interesting to see how that actually pans out at the end of the day. But yeah, historically, they do halt the trading of stock. There's dramatic astronomical fluctuations. A lot of people debate if that's a good or bad thing. I mean, famously happened a couple of years ago with the GameStop fiasco. And Trump continued to say, quote, but I don't want to sell my shares. I'm not going to sell the shares. I didn't do it for the money. I did it because I really want to have a strong voice, and it's a great voice for me. Although, let's be honest, if you were to actually hear it in his voice, he'd say, I didn't do it for the money. I did it because I really wanted to have a long, strong voice. It's a great voice for me. And as long as my voice is on there, it's going to always be good. Unquote. Which I do agree in the fact that as long as he is on that platform, people will continue to log in. They'll continue to check it out. They'll continue to be a fan of it and maybe even somehow support it monetarily. He also said, quote, a lot of people think it's the reason it's down. A lot of people think I'm going to sell. If I sell, it wouldn't be the same. I say, quote, Trump Media, which has reported multi-million-dollar losses on its scant revenue in its last quarterly earnings result, told the SEC filings. They still boast a market capitalization of $3.7 billion. True, but that's just what again, that is what the market is currently valuing it at. That is an astronomical, I mean, that's almost an infinite, pretty much an infinite multiplier in terms of the company's revenue, which there's a whole debate in terms of how publicly a company trading how companies are usually evaluated when you do an IPO, and when you do acquisitions, what kind of multiplier they're given. And traditionally, you have a multiplier of the revenue. That's how you kind of justify the sale of a company more often than not. And yeah, I'm still shocked that the market is still rewarding it with that valuation right now. Again, it's been dropping the past couple of weeks because there's so much speculation that Trump was going to sell. Now that he's saying he's not going to, I suspect, again, this is financial advice, but I suspect that'll help stabilize the stock long term. Now, that being said, how's it going to stabilize as a business long term when, again, they continue to lose money more and more? There's less and less compelling reasons for businesses to sign up to pay for advertisements on it. I think it's very much in a similar situation to Public Square, which was trying to compete with Amazon, but with standing for free speech and not censoring things. They're struggling to grow as well because, again, the competition is monumentous. And people are very habitual when it comes to shopping habits, social media interactions, and their preferred platforms. And again, I'm not sure. I mean, Trump is doing a lot of interviews. I suspect he should be trying to create more original content for social. But that being said, he has relative to every other social media platform, is an infinitely small number of a user base. So that's why a lot of people, I personally think he had to get back on the X Twitter to reach a massive audience of prospective voters. Because again, the people on True Social, that's not really helping him politically. He already has, I mean, the people on True Social, they're signing up because Trump is on it. They already love Trump. They're going to vote for him. He doesn't need to persuade them with any new arguments or stances or proposed policies. But when it comes to reaching people in the middle, reaching other voters, reaching people on the left, trying to get him on his side, he had to go to X Twitter. And that's where he's been spending a lot of his activity. So I'm pretty shocked that the stock jumped by that much. That's a huge percentage. But again, I'm not sure what's the long-term viability of the business. Again, the compelling reason for it to exist is really dwindling. And anecdotally speaking, a lot of my friends who did sign up for it subsequently just kind of stopped tuning in because they just go on X Twitter. There's also someone who just reposts everything Trump says on True Social to X Twitter. So that doesn't get as many views as Trump's actual profile on X Twitter. But we'll see what the long-term viability of the business is. I'm pretty skeptical. But let me know in the comments. Do you know anyone who currently logs in and uses True Social? And do you think it'll be a long-term viable, profitable company? I mean, it took Amazon decades to become profitable. I guess that should be the number one concern. I guess my number one concern is, again, I'm not buying the stock, but mine would be, what's the roadmap to profitability and more market share? But let me know in the comments because, as always, it'd be fascinating to hear what you have to say. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in. Again, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you can click that button, I greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment is a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take the time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.